This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15 p.m.) This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi, assisted by Nilusha Jayamana, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Magistrate Court and High Courts to hear cases relating to children will be set up at provincial level. Police say violating health guidelines is a punishable offence. Sri Lanka will receive 2 million more Sinopharm vaccines tomorrow. The government says the COVID vaccination program is now underway successfully. Paddy mill owners have agreed to purchase paddy harvests at the government's guaranteed price. In foreign news, India records more than 4,300 black fungus deaths. In sports, Brisbane confirmed as 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games host. Local news in detail. The Child Protection Authority says that magistrate courts and high courts to hear cases relating to children will be set up at provincial level. Deputy Chairman of the authority, Sujatha Alhapperuna, says that the country has only 2 such courts at present. Therefore, children who have been subjected to abusers and other injustices will have to face many difficulties. She added that 5 committees have been appointed to make recommendations to amend and reform outdated laws regarding children. Senior DIG Deshabandhu Tennakon says conducting protest campaigns violating COVID guidelines has been banned. Some health guidelines have been imposed to control the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Violating such rules is a punishable offence. Holding musical shows in open spaces has also been prohibited under the health guidelines. Against this backdrop, teachers' attempt to gather at Fort Railway Station premises is also illegal. Health and the defence sectors have been committed to prevent the spread of the pandemic in the country. Therefore, the trade union activists must think of this situation and act in a responsible manner in this decisive juncture. State Minister Channa Jayasumana says that Sri Lanka is expecting another batch of Sinopharm vaccines. Accordingly, 2 million more doses of the China-manufactured coronavirus jabs will arrive in the country tomorrow. This will bring the total number of Sinopharm vaccines received by the island nation to 9.1 million. The State Minister further said 400,000 of these vaccines will be rolled out in the Kurunegala district, 275,000 in the Galle district, 200,000 each in Matra, Badula and Ratnapura districts, 100,000 each in Putlam, Polonnaruwa, Monragala, Nuwara Ampara and Batikro districts, and 125,000 doses will be sent to the Hambantota district. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Call 0718 800 999.
The Ministry of Health says that another 930 patients who are being treated for COVID-19 have been discharged after completing their recovery. This increases the country's coronavirus recoveries to 263,758. Sri Lanka has thus far confirmed a total of 287,973 positive cases of COVID-19, while 20,345 patients infected with the virus are currently under medical care. The death toll due to the virus currently stands at 3,870. Both large-scale and small-scale paddy mill owners have agreed to purchase paddy harvests from the farmers at the government's certified prices. Prices of rice increased during the past period as several large-scale mill owners have purchased and stocked paddy, creating a scarcity of paddy in the country. At a discussion held in the Ministry of Agriculture today, the mill owners agreed to purchase paddy in a justifiable manner to compensate both farmers and consumers. State Minister Janaka Wakkumra says that a pad of high-quality local spices will be made available for consumers at a concessionary rate of 800 rupees. Turmeric, dry chili, pepper, raw condiments and several other essential spices are included in this pack. Its market value is 1,350 rupees. This low-cost spices pack is available at Satusa outlets chain island-wide. That ends local news.
Now, get your EPF loan information and service details via SMS from HDFC Bank. Wherever you are, being a state and private sector employee, to obtain EPF loan information and service details, just send a SMS mentioning EPF space, name and region to 0718 800 999. HDFC Bank, the bank for your home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The government says the COVID vaccination program is now underway successfully. People were vaccinated at 114 centres in 13 districts today. Over 6.1 million persons have been given the first dose of any COVID vaccine. Over 1.7 million persons have received both doses. Meanwhile, the medical staff of the armed forces has given vaccines to over 300,000 persons in the Western Province at present. The government has planned to vaccinate 14 million persons in the country by September this year. The country has already received over 10 million doses of various types of COVID vaccines. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Traffic police say that there is a rapid increase in road accidents at present. About 10 persons have been killed by road accidents during the past week. Motorbikes and three-wheelers are the most vulnerable vehicles to road accidents. Careless driving and driving under the influence of liquor are also two major causes for road accidents. The police request the motorists to be vigilant while driving. That came to in Watchlight, and on to a bulletin of world news in the headlines. India records more than 4,300 black fungus deaths. 12 dead in Zhangzhou train and thousands evacuated in China. Gold toilet found in Russian police bribery probe. World news in detail now. More than 4,300 people have died of the deadly black fungus in India in a growing epidemic that mainly affects COVID-19 patients. India has reported 45,374 cases of this rare and dangerous infection called mucormycosis. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said. It affects the nose, eyes and sometimes the brain and usually strikes 12 to 18 days after recovery from COVID. Nearly half of those infected are still receiving treatment. 12 people have died after record-breaking rainfall flooded underground railway tunnels in China, leaving passengers trapped in rising waters. Video shared on social media shows evening commuters just managing to keep their heads above water. Water is seen rushing onto platforms. More than 500 people were eventually rescued from the tunnels in Hainan province, officials said. Days of rain have caused widespread damage and led to 200,000 evacuations. A glided toilet and other luxuries were found in a mansion raided by Russian investigators who say they busted a gang of corrupt police. The investigative committee SK website has a video showing extravagant interiors in a huge mansion among many properties raided. Colonel Alexis Safinov, head of traffic police in the southern Stavropol region, was arrested with 6 others. Traffic police allegedly took bribes for issuing fake permits to businesses. Back to the headlines of the world news. India records more than 4,300 black fungus deaths. 12 dead in Zhangzhou train and thousands evacuated in China. Gold toilet found in Russian police bribery probe. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In development news, a floating solar power plant will be set up in the Thiavanna oil reservoir. India will grant loan facilities for this 1.5 megawatts plant. This will be able to provide the daily electricity requirement to the parliament premises. The government is also conducting feasibility studies to set up such solar power plants in major reservoirs and irrigational tanks throughout the country. That was development news.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports news, Brisbane will host the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games after being approved by the International Olympic Committee. The Australian city was named the preferred bidder before being proposed by the IOC Executive Board in June. It will be the 3rd time the country has hosted the Olympics after Melbourne in 1956 and Sydney in the year 2000. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka stocks closed 0.57% higher on Tuesday, pushed up by LOLC Holdings, Expo Lanka Holdings and Haley's PLC, continuing yesterday's gain, brokers said. On Monday, the market passed the 8,000-point mark for the first time after February. Turnover was 4.8 billion rupees, with 106 stocks gaining and 92 falling. That was business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
In economic news, Trade Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that Sri Lanka plans to double exports to $20 billion within 2 years of producing organic foods amid farmer protests and fears of lower harvests after chemical fertilizer was banned. If the country makes organic food and poison-free agri-products, Sri Lanka can double the current export revenue within the next 2 years at least. That was economic news.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
In the weather report, the Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the Sabragamua and in the central provinces. A few showers will occur in the western province and in the Galle and Matra districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 kilometers per hour are likely across the island, and strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slope of the Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces, and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. Magistrate courts and high courts to hear cases relating to children will be set up at provincial level. Police say violating health guidelines is a punishable offence. Sri Lanka will receive 2 million more Sinopharm vaccines tomorrow. The government says the COVID vaccination program is now underway successfully. Paddy mill owners have agreed to purchase paddy harvests at the government's guaranteed price. In news from overseas, India records more than 4,300 black fungus deaths. In sports, Brisbane confirmed as 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games host. With that, we end this news broadcast.